Hey there, science fans, let's dive into the wild world of viruses. These tiny things are smaller than the wavelength of light. That means we can't even see them with normal microscopes. They are everywhere, from the air we breathe to the surfaces we touch. Viruses can infect animals, plants, and even bacteria. Viruses are strange because they are not quite alive. However, they are not exactly dead either. They exist in a weird gray area between the living and the non-living. This makes them a real head-scratcher for scientists. Are they like tiny robots programmed to replicate, or are they something else entirely? Get ready to explore the fascinating and sometimes freaky world of viruses. Let's unlock the secrets of these mysterious entities together. Fasten your seatbelts, science adventurers, because things are about to get small. Really, really small. To understand viruses, we need to define what it means to be alive. What are the ingredients that make something a living organism? Well, scientists generally agree on a few key characteristics. First, living things grow and develop. Think about a tiny seed sprouting into a giant tree. Second, they respond to their environment. Imagine a sunflower turning to face the sun. Third, they reproduce and pass on their genetic information to their offspring. Picture baby animals inheriting their parents' traits. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, living organisms have a metabolism. This means they take in nutrients from their surroundings and use them to create energy to power all those amazing life processes. Picture a bear eating berries to fuel its adventures. So how do viruses measure up to these criteria? Let's find out. To understand the weirdness of viruses, let's compare them to something we know is alive: bacteria. Bacteria are single-celled organisms that are true masters of survival. These tiny powerhouses can thrive in the most extreme conditions, from boiling hot springs to the frozen tundra. They can be found in almost every environment on Earth, from the depths of the ocean to the inside of our own bodies. In fact, our gut is home to trillions of bacteria that help us digest food and keep our immune system in check. Bacteria have all the hallmarks of life. They possess a complex cell structure with a membrane, cytoplasm, and genetic material. They grow, they respond to their environment, and they reproduce by dividing into two identical daughter cells. This process, known as binary fission, allows them to multiply rapidly. Plus, they have a busy metabolism, breaking down nutrients and creating energy to keep their tiny bacterial engines running. This metabolic activity is crucial for their survival and growth. Now, viruses are a whole different story. Unlike bacteria, they cannot survive or reproduce on their own. They are much simpler than bacteria. Viruses lack the cellular machinery necessary for independent life. In fact, they are not even cells at all. They are essentially just tiny packages of genetic material, DNA or RNA, wrapped in a protein coat. These genetic packages are incredibly efficient at what they do. They hijack the cellular machinery of their host to replicate themselves. So, how do these minimalist microbes manage to replicate and wreak havoc on the living world? Let's investigate. Section 4, Viral Hijackers Sneaking Through the Back Door. Here's the thing about viruses: they can't reproduce on their own. Unlike bacteria, which can multiply independently, viruses are completely dependent on a host cell for replication. They are like pirates who need to hijack a ship to sail the seas. Without a host, they are essentially stranded, unable to carry out their life cycle. Viruses need to invade a living cell and take control of its cellular machinery to make more viruses. This process is akin to a hostile takeover, where the virus reprograms the cell to serve its own needs. Imagine a virus as a sneaky thief with a master key. It finds a way to unlock the cell's defenses and slip inside undetected. Once inside, it goes straight to the control center, the nucleus, and inserts its own genetic code into the cell's DNA. This is where the real magic happens. Now the infected cell is under the virus's spell. The cell's machinery is hijacked, and it starts following the virus's instructions. It starts churning out thousands of copies of the virus instead of doing its regular job. The cell becomes a virus factory, producing new viral particles at an astonishing rate. It's like the virus throws a wild party inside the cell, and everyone's invited. The cell is filled to the brim with new viruses, ready to spread the infection. The cell eventually bursts open, releasing a flood of new viruses ready to infect more cells. This dramatic exit ensures that the infection can spread rapidly to neighboring cells. Talk about a hostile takeover. The cycle continues as these new viruses go on to hijack more cells, perpetuating the infection. Section 5. The the great debate. Are viruses truly alive? So, are viruses alive? This question has puzzled scientists for many years, leading to countless discussions and debates in the scientific community. It's a question that has sparked heated debates among scientists for decades. The complexity of viruses and their unique characteristics make it difficult to categorize them definitively. On one hand, viruses can replicate, but only by hijacking the cellular machinery of a host cell. This dependency on a host cell for reproduction is a key point in the argument against considering them as living entities. They don't have their own ribosomes to build proteins, or their own metabolic pathways to generate energy. Without these essential components, viruses cannot carry out the basic functions that define life. On the other hand, viruses do evolve and adapt to their environment. This ability to change and respond to their surroundings is a characteristic often associated with living organisms. They can mutate and change over time, just like living organisms. This evolutionary capability allows viruses to survive and thrive in various environments, making them incredibly resilient. Some scientists argue that this ability to evolve is a strong indication that viruses are indeed alive. They believe that the evolutionary process is a fundamental aspect of life. The debate rages on, and there's no easy answer. The line between life and non-life is blurred when it comes to viruses, making it a challenging topic to resolve. Some scientists believe that viruses are a form of life, while others consider them to be complex biochemical machines. This dichotomy highlights the diverse perspectives within the scientific community. It's a fascinating scientific puzzle that reminds us that the natural world is full of surprises. The ongoing research and debates about viruses continue to expand our understanding of life itself. Section 6, a paradigm shift, rethinking the virus story. Our understanding of viruses has come a long way since they were first discovered in the late 19th century. Back then, scientists thought viruses were just really small bacteria. But as our tools for studying the microscopic world improved, we realized that viruses were something else entirely. Today, we know that viruses play a significant role in the biosphere. They can influence the evolution of other organisms by transferring genetic material between different species. Some scientists even speculate that viruses may have been instrumental in the origin of life itself. Furthermore, viruses are not always the villains they're often made out to be. Scientists are exploring the potential of viruses as tools for gene therapy and fighting bacterial infections. Who knows what other surprises these enigmatic entities hold for us in the future? Section 7. What do you think? The final word on viruses. So, there you have it, science explorers! We've journeyed into the microscopic realm of viruses, exploring their structure, their life cycles, and the ongoing debate about their status as living organisms. Viruses challenge our traditional definitions of life and remind us that the natural world is full of wonder and mystery. What do you think? Are viruses alive? Or are they just incredibly complex molecular machines? There's no right or wrong answer, but pondering this question can lead us to a deeper understanding of the incredible diversity and interconnectedness of life on Earth. Keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep that love of science alive.